Yo, yo, yo. Yo, 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 yo. Oof. Okay. So I'm going to show this because I'm looking at news. Boom. You guys should be able to see this now. Today is Wednesday, April 2nd. And here we are at 8:15 a.m. We have one red folder ADP non-farm employment change. I'm slightly, very slightly concerned as to what that's going to do with the market. So we're going to take it at its time. 8:15, it'll drop. That is not within our time to trade, but it is within our time to start doing chart work and having it set up, right? I see non-farm. That is, it's not NFP specifically, but I do see non-farm, and that is the first two. So that being the case, we're going to be very, very attentive to what the market has to say and offer and do. So that way, in the end, we're not blindsided by anything else. We also have another folder at 4 p.m. President Trump speaks. Apparently, that's going to affect market as well, but it's not happening until 4 p.m. So, with that being said, I think I don't know where that came from, but oh my gosh, did it feel good. Go ahead and close that, and then from there, we'll just open this up. Boom. I am so sorry. I have no idea where that came from. That was crazy. Wow. Okay, we're gonna clear drawings off of this one. We're gonna clear drawings off of this one here. Okay. What am I seeing? I'm seeing a large uptrend. I'm seeing a freshly made low that was in fact a break of structure, it looks like. That's very hard to tell. It is not a break of structure because it didn't close below this low. So with as of right now, this is within structure. If we're trading within this trend, I am looking for a buy position because this is by default a new low, but it is not a low low. It is a higher low, and as a result, we'll need to look at we're looking for a potential reversal back to the upside on the hour specifically. Let's go ahead and mark out our session times so we have price range to work off of, because looking at stuff. Good. Boom. I think we made effective use of the app yesterday with calling out where price was going to go per the chart and not relying on it as an indicator. I think I did very good at managing that and not getting sidetracked onto what an app had to say over what the actual chart was doing. We're going 950. Boom. Yesterday we did not take a trade, though I did do a video because I wanted to see what the folders did to market when they came out, and from that we got actual decent results. We saved the money we would have lost because if I'm not mistaken, we actually were in this. Price kept coming down, and I believe we called it right in here because this was not closing up. This fair value gap right here was not getting closed above. Well, it did, but we were getting indecisive readings on a low note among this right here, And as a result, I said, nope, ain't happening. We waited and waited and waited up until 10:30, and that was 10:30 right there. 10:30 would have been the inverse fair value gap we could have taken a trade on, but at the same time, we didn't take a trade. So today we're looking to take a trade. We are 100% going to take a trade if we can identify everything we need to identify in the time we have it. With that being said, we have our market opens. Go ahead and change this to gray so we have our opening. From here, we'll go to the hour. Boom. Good. We're going to do this here, horizontal ray. Highest point. Identify a high, up, down. This would be the highest point. Market got to there. Lowest point would be right there. Highest point, I'm not seeing a high. Aside from this, I'm going to leave it there. This is going to change without a doubt in my mind. So I figured out exactly what was happening on. I figured out what I can do on my gaming channel to benefit it. It's going to take time though, regardless. I'm going to be experimenting with new forms of content that I think you guys are going to like a lot. I recognize that the games I like are boring to others. I recognize it. And so I am now having to work with a change of pace for the people I play with as well as the games I play with them. Okay. Let's go back up to the hour. See what we see. Current bias, we made a high. We're actually on the down at the moment. For the day, I'm looking at the same gist here. We made a high. Highest point between the two is right there. This is on a current downtrend. Yeah. We are on a current downtrend. This was a successful retrace. Price is going to continue moving down. We'll probably have a I think we're seeing a breaker block in this. Lack of buy orders in the market, or sell orders on these two up right here. Either that or we're about to see one large leg down. And in either case, we're looking for a short in this because we are currently in a downtrend and we have already peaked up here and we've already made a new high there. We swept that liquidity. I don't know. We could be going higher. What are our confluences that price could continue going higher? Well, we have a fair value gap here that has not been closed above yet, so price is going to draw to that automatically. And this is not the inverse of a fair value gap over here. Instead, this right here, this candle, was the inverse of fair value gap right here. This is a confluence that price is going to continue in the direction it has been, which is generally speaking down. So per this move here on this leg, per what it's given us in data, I think price is going to continue moving down, but not before coming up and clearing the rest of this fair value gap here. If it doesn't come up and clear this, it'll probably consolidate and then drop. That's my idea. So today's gist, what am I looking for? I am looking for price to hit either my top key level and close above, in which case no, price is going to continue higher. Closing this fair value gap here. Let's go ahead and mark this fair value gap so we're on the same page. And I know when I mark this, it's going to look very different. So we know exactly what we're looking at. Boom. Let's see. That's on NASDAQ. There is that the daily? That is the daily. All right, same gist here. After value gap right here. And it looks like it has accumulated what it needs to because we have matching highs here. So what I think is going to happen is price is going to continue lower per the S&P 500, right? Because it has the same confluences. We have an inverse for value gap. This did close below the low. And it wasn't actually until this candle right here that it closed below, making this inverse. So with that being the case, there is no imbalance here because of this candle specifically. And as a result of the inverse fair value gap, we know price is going to continue moving down. So what I'm going to be looking for today is a short entry potentially. I think we're going to see price come below this key level here. And when it does, we'll be waiting for it to wick it, come back up into a premium, press sell, move down. With that being the case, with that being said, I'm also looking at the break of structure, right? Because we did sweep this liquidity here. We swept this liquidity, retested it, so it could continue higher as a result of this break of structure. So daily bias is that we're in a downtrend, and all these signs right here are saying down, with the exception of this reversal right here that says price is going to continue moving higher. It was because of this reversal price moved higher, creating the break of structure we needed. The inverse for value gap says price is going to continue in a direction. Which direction? That's a very good question. It retested this level of liquidity here, swept it, and as a result, we might actually see price continue moving higher because of this reversal here on this wick down. So my thought process is that we are going to see a leg up today and tomorrow. Just so market is clear on this right here. And per news, we have 2 red folders on news. President Trump speaks, and then, of course, non-farm employment change. There are no other folders for USD. So we should be seeing a change at 8:15 specifically. We're going to keep that time in mind the entire time we're doing this. Boom, boom. Let's go ahead and bring this up here. Yay, what am I seeing exactly? I am seeing stuff. I'm seeing stars. Woo. Anyway, we're going here. Boom. We swept this liquidity here. Had a fair value gap on the same sweep, inverted the fair value gap, inverse fair value gap, price continues moving down. As a result of this price moving down, we have a fair value gap here that has not inverted anything because this was an inverse fair value gap, right? Price was going to continue moving higher up until it swept this. So this is a valid fair value gap at the moment. What I think is going to happen, I think I'm in the right. I think per the fair value gap on the higher time frame, we're going to see price continue moving higher. And from that, we'll see once it's cleared, price wanting to barrel back down. And it won't be till later today that it does that around, I am going to imagine, 4 p.m. when President Trump speaks. With that being the case, I think it's going to be best for us to assume that price is going to continue higher until we see what news does. I want to see what news does before I get super crazy on my bias. I wanna. Is this a draw on liquidity here? I don't think so because I believe this is 10. That's 10 at night. No, that's 10 in the morning. What am I doing? It's 10 in the morning, Tuesday. That was news, Tuesday. that was news. This right here, this whole candle was news. It moved all the way down and continued moving higher. Um, I don't think this is a draw on liquidity, but I do think this right here is. Move low here, boom. Move low here, boom. Move low here, boom. Move low here. Just to keep things simple, because we're looking to take shorts later on in the week. This is set up to run short down per the confluence here. This inverse fair value gap says price is going to continue moving down. We have an inverse, we have a fair value gap, not an inverse fair value gap, but a fair value gap here, assuming this candle closes below this gap. With that being the case, we're waiting up until 8:15 to see news and what it does. What I have a feeling, suspecting feeling it'll do, is when it drops, price is going to move up, wick this, and from that we'll have a inverse fair value gap as well as a liquidity sweep off this high time frame key confluence here, key level here. Once it sweeps that, we're looking for on the 5-minute our break of structure or inverse fair value gap. That price is going to continue moving down. Continuation confluence, at which point, because it has to confirm that reversal, right? That break of structure, inverse fair value gap, that's the confirmation of the, in fact, the reversal was true. If for any reason we cannot identify any of these, chances are it's because of the volatility is just not there, and from that we'll make a reasonable decision not to trade, because I don't want to lose the money we just made. And yeah, keep that simple. Go ahead and mark this just because there are no other draws of liquidity except all the way up here, and on the higher time frames, this is a valid fair value gap. This right here is. There's still an imbalance right in this, and we've already accumulated what we need to go higher. So I wouldn't be surprised if it moves higher. We also had like a mini fair value gap up here. Again, we accumulated that and went down, so there is this here, and actually I believe we ruled this out yesterday that this was an imbalance per this fair value gap, and it inverted. Price continued lower. This is the true same case here. Now we're looking for an inverse fair value gap on this note here. This has to be inverted for price to continue higher. If this fair value gap is respected, as in price comes up, closes above this, we'll even wait if we want to. If it closes above this line, continues higher, and hits this right here, I'm imagining that the price will continue higher, wick this line, and from that clear this, and then barrel back down, because that is a valid imbalance. We have a fair value gap here that is due to get inverted. We're waiting on 8:15 still to get news. This setup looks good for a short. I want to see what news does to it though. The reason this right here is not a draw on liquidity because it clears this fair value gap here. Not inversing it, but making it balanced out. Orders were filled from this fair value gap over here, right? As a result, we have a draw on liquidity that, yes, price is going to continue moving down. So what exactly do I think is going to happen? I think what is going to happen first, I had to guess, I think price is going to come down. I think it's going to sweep this right here, because this could be considered a draw on liquidity. I'm going to pause the video and actually look into another video to actually like relearn this, because when this right here occurs, that's where all my logic goes out the window. With that being the case, I want to see if price continues moving down. If it does, it'll probably sweep this liquidity here. If it does, that is a new sign of reversal that price is going to continue higher. That is what my bias is. If it sweeps this, it'll continue higher. If it sweeps this, it'll continue lower. And if it sweeps this, I'm looking for a closure above this and the wick to go all the way up to there. Let's go ahead and mark that on the lower time frame. So we are in the clear. We'll go ahead and put this right here as gray. So that way we know as soon as it crosses this line specifically, the imbalance is solved on the fair value gap part. If the fair value gap is inverted, if this fair value gap specifically is inverted on the closure of this candle, chances are price is going to continue moving higher, in which case our bias that price is going to continue moving higher off of a closure above this candle or a wick sweep. Wrong. That's the wrong way I said that. Our bias that price is going to move higher is going to become true because it will have swept this liquidity, barreled down, swept this liquidity, and then moved higher from there. Do the same thing right here, just because. We have two potential draws on liquidity. We have our price range for it to move in. We're, of course, waiting for this to work itself out. Once it does, we'll have a more meaningful base to work off of. And yeah, it's currently 7:30. Do I see any S&T divergence happening at the moment? Nope. Not on the hourly. So these two are relatively in line at the moment. I'll go ahead and pause the video, look up that other one, and see what I can learn from that. BRB. So I just got through watching a small amount of video, and I don't know how to use news. And I'm like, aside from just reading it and saying, "Oh, bad folder. Ooh, good folder. Ooh, this. Ooh, that." I now understand, have the notes and the knowledge and capability of knowing what's going to happen per news after I click on the folder. A little better than I did before, just a little bit. So right now, I'm gonna pull this up again so you guys can see it the way I see it and yada yada yada. This is our day. We have two red folders, two orange folders, right? Per the red folder, actually for all of this, really. Boom. Actual greater than forecast is good for currency. If it's green, that means price is going down. If it's red, that means price is going up. If the actual is greater than forecast, the actual is not greater than forecast. As a result, we're going to see price go up. This folder right here actually spells it out right here. It's a gauge. If it's above 50, it indicates price going higher, 69 above 50. The forecast is above 50. The previous is above 50. Price is going to continue moving higher. So the general direction per news is that price is going to go higher on drop. This was yesterday. This is today. I am way off. I am wrong. It was supposed to go higher yesterday. Yay. Let's go ahead and run detail on this. Actual greater than forecast currency is good. So if we see a red number here and it's less than this, right? It means price is going to go up for the S&P. Same just here. However, this does not show us anything. It just says President Trump speaks. And again, this probably will not be affecting us as quickly as this right here will, because that is the quicker, that's the sooner time. We're at 7:41. But yeah, per the bias and alongside what news has to offer, I think we're going to see price continue lower. I think we're going to have it dance around on 8:15. It'll skim across this line. If not, it'll probably actually just wind up being unaffected at all. It might actually go up, clear this right quick, sweep, maybe this high. No, because that's the key level. It might close above this, but it might rally back down, touch this again. And when it does, that'll be our sign to move in for a trade. That is the best guess I have at the moment under these confluences, as well as using news. If the actual is greater for currency, the price is greater than the forecast, and because it's good for currency, the price is going to go down. At which point we'll have our exact, oh, this is without question a good thing. We can go short on this without worry. Again, though, if it's lesser than the forecast, that means the price is going to go up. And from that, we'll see a brief rise in price. Again, we'll be waiting for one of these to get hit before we move into the 5-minute. I think our setup is crisp. I think it's gold. I think it's okay for right now. I think it's good. We know what we're looking for. We know what price wants to do on the market per the confluences. We want to see price continue lower at the moment. I know I said higher before. That was because I didn't know how specifically to use news. That was me guessing off of the confluences of the chart by themselves. Realistically speaking, the general daily bias is a downtrend. I know not to marry the daily bias and to further investigate on the lower time frame to get the best trade within the trend of the day as a result of that and finding out what news is actually doing to the market. I'm able to reasonably say that we might actually come out with a decent trade off of today's stuff. I'm going to pause the video now, and from this, we'll wait for 8:15 to hit. Once it does, we'll be looking for news specifically. We'll be on the minute looking for it to, actually, no, we'll go to 5-minute because we have to wait at least 20 minutes after news drops for the market to settle down and see what it's doing. From that, we're going to go ahead and, yeah, we're going to figure some stuff out. We'll figure it out. Comment section, we'll figure it out. Don't you worry. We'll be right back. I have learned a little bit, and I now know what to look for. And I'm happy that I have the freedom to do this. We hit key level. Woo, we actually broke past 2 key levels. I did say it would sweep this right here. Per this, what are we looking for? A short, because I think price is going to continue moving down per the general trend. From here, we're moving down to the 5-minute. Go away. We're trying to trade here. Boom. Beforehand, it was only at 950 that I'd be trading, but now I'm more inclined to take a trade anytime between here and here. 1030 is the definite no-go. Don't even try it. Sayonara. Realistically speaking, per the original boot camp TGR trades did, it should be 9:30 that I should be calling it a day, because that is 1 hour and 30 minutes after market open. News dropped at 8:15, which is on this candle here. When this candle decides to show up, that's on the hour. Boom. That price is going to continue moving lower. On the 8:15 candles specifically. Yeah. We'll see 2 candles move further down. For the current move, we're in an uptrend. Or we are currently in a definite, defined spiral down. So what are we waiting on at the very moment? We're waiting on break of structure, inverse fair value gap, or S&T divergence. I'm looking at fair value gap there, fair value gap there. I'm looking for break of structure because we are currently in a downtrend on the 5-minute. And I'm using my contexts to figure this out, right? Break of structure from downtrend is a higher low. We got the break of structure. We'd move down to the 1-minute from there. Or not from the 1 to the 1 minute. We move to stay on the 5. From here, we're looking for a fair value gap, breaker block, order block, or equilibrium. On that fair value gap, did we get one? Yeah. Yeah, we did. We got fair value gap. From there, we'd be going down to the 1 minute. Off of that, break of structure or inverse fair value gap. Technically, per this app right here, right? If I'm using all the confluences the way up they are right now, right? We have stuff. We're gonna take the trade as we see it unfold on TradingView specifically. So we're gonna stick with the 5-minute and we're gonna watch all of it. We're gonna watch it all occur. Because right now, that's looking profitable. Very, very profitable. We're going to wait for it to unfold on this, though, so we can get the best trade. We're going for a short position. And we do have take profits much lower. Yeah, we got to take profits all over the place. We're good. And we'll put our stop loss just above this high here. So it's way out of the way. And it is within trend, within the daily bias, that we are moving further down. For the 815 candle, it doesn't look like that candle specifically had high impact news. The price did move up, but the general direction is still down. I'm looking at a fair value gap formed off of the 820 candle as well as the break of structure back to the downside. I'm looking at a green candle on the, is that 830? Yeah, 830 candle. I'm looking at that currently forming to the upside. If we get the inverse fair value gap off of that, I'm tempted to enter the trade on TradingView. We'll see what it does. Because right now we just have a fair value gap. We have 3 fair value gaps on the board, including these 2. This one here, right? We have fair value gap, and then on this candle right here, we also have a fair value gap at the close of this candle here. This candle is currently forming to green up to the upside on the app. So we're going to wait patiently for all of this to unfold. News was not crazy. The next folder that will affect us is at 4 p.m. And my hope is to get out of the trade before then. We'll take profit on several several points with this one. So we're just waiting on it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to take a risk. This risk is fairly understandable, fairly just, right? Per my search on Google specifically, because this is delayed, right? If I press sell or buy or try and enter a trade on this, right, it's not going to enter on the candle shown. It'll enter in on the candle where price action currently is, right? So per the bias, per the trade strategy, what I'm looking for is inverse for value gap. We're going to press sell on TradingView for a short position before it appears, so as to get the best trade per our strategy. Once it's been executed, we'll write it out and see what happens. This is a risk I'm willing to take. It is paper trading. We are practicing and experimenting with this one. I'm not saying do this with real money. Don't do it with your money. And I'm not a financial advisor, so do whatever the heck you want. I don't give a crap. Anyway, I'm waiting for an inverse for value gap or a break of structure on the I actually got the per value gap there. I'm looking for I was on the wrong time frame. We're going to press sell now. On the 1 minute, we're going to press sell. Yes, good. From here, we're going to put our stop loss. We're going to X out of this. Go away from that. This one here, stop loss, right above this. Because we don't want it getting messed up. And our take profit is going to go way down there. And it's going to keep moving. Like, we have another... Do we not have a hot dog? Allow me to. We do. There we go. That is what we're looking at the moment. This was current price action. This was price action on just before Asian session, but we're not counting that. We're counting within session trend, and then from here, we're looking at that candle move down. Current short position. It's going to display some weird stuff at the moment, and that's okay. We're primarily looking for... This is currently where our stop loss is, and then right here, boom, 1 to 1.74. That's our risk to reward at the moment. I think it's okay. We have the potential of making 5 grand. We have the potential of losing 3. I think that's okay. That being said, let's head down to the 5 minute because we did get a break of structure and I did press sell on the 1 minute. For the 5 minute, everything lined up with our bias. That price is in fact going to continue moving much, 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 much further down. So it will need to retrace. And from that, it will continue moving lower. We do have a break of structure on the 1 minute for this chart specifically, and we did enter off of the correct confluence that is right here, I believe. So this is that candle. We'll have one break of structure there. We actually broke structure on this one. Higher low, higher high. Sorry, higher low, and then higher high on that candle specifically. Broke structure on it. We didn't enter until 1, 2, I want to say 3 candles. okay. Sure. Yeah. I think our bias is okay. I think we're good. I think we are. Where was A15? A15 was that. It drove price higher. It swept this high right here off of this liquidity, and from that, price is moving much, much lower. We followed our building blocks all the way down to continue that confirmation that this was in fact swept. At that point, actually, yeah, I think we used our building blocks correctly. Only time will tell. Let's ride this wave out, shall we? We are in a well-defined downtrend too, so this is with trend. I'll go ahead and take off this headset here. We're gonna pause the video, and I'm gonna do something to keep my mind off of it for a little while, and from that, we'll come back in about 5-10 minutes, see what happens, and then from there, we will see exactly if our trade idea was right or wrong. BRB. In the event the power goes out, because we do have storms on the way, I think it's going to be best if I go ahead and mark exactly where we are right now. We're at 836. Currently, our price idea is kind of wrong. We have negative $100 in here. However, the bias is still the same. We have not broke structure to the upside. About to have a moment of truth, actually. The smarter of the option, really. Because we are about to sweep this right here on the actual, on the app specifically. Yeah, we're about to sweep this. We have swept it. So my thought process is, if price continues to come up, it should sweep this liquidity, but not close above it. If it closes above it, I'm tempted to reverse the position. But if it's only a wick up to this, I imagine it'll continue back down. At most, it should only come up to about this level here. Maybe a little past it right here. But if I'm wrong in this, it will only come up to this wick here because this is the most recent high. So it might sweep this and continue lower. Every building block we put up so far has said that yes, price is going to move lower. We're just in a brief retrace on the 1 minute. And so we're waiting to see what happens in this price action range here. I think we took the best trade possible today. Not gonna lie. I think we are going to come out profitable on this. I don't think news had a significant impact on the market, at least today, as far as we're looking at it and seeing it. Hasn't had an impactful setup on the news, and as a result, I'm not entirely inclined to say my idea is wrong. I understand that I can take a trade anytime after 8 a.m., so long as it's within the first hour and a half to 2 hours, and 9:50 is the cutoff, or not the cutoff, it is the time that is best suited to go in for a trade. If 9:50 doesn't come around, but we still find a trade to take anyway, go ahead and attempt to take it. Understand that if the trade idea is wrong once taken before 9:50, either find somewhere to reverse it or exit the trade and take a second trade, not as a revenge trade, but as a recuperation trade, right? Try and be profitable on the next one so as to not lose out as much off the first. Root beer. We're going to pause the video. Be right back when we see significant change in the market. BRB. Made the mistake again. Comment section. I made it again. I took news. I saw what it was going to do. And I straight up said, you know what? I think it's going to be lower. Price is going to continue down. Yeah, news dropped. It went lower from the 8:15 mark, which is exactly what it did. However, I'm looking at a green number. Green number means up. Actually, am I wrong? I think I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. I was right, but I'm wrong, and I'm wrong a second time now as a result. So my thought process was, when news dropped, that we'd wait 20 minutes after it dropped. So, looking at the chart specifically, we've had to reverse our position. We are now making money, but not a lot of money. We made a boo-boo. So let's go ahead and discuss the boo-boo as we are still on the trade. I entered on a short position on this candle here. We were taking building blocks from this on the candle close on market open. On the hourly, boom. On the hourly, we had, on this closure, the cross below our key level, which said to us that price was wanting to move much further down. That's what we thought would happen, right? It moved down a little bit, but as you can see, we would have been stopped out because I had my stop loss actually right up here. I had my stop loss up here. We would have been stopped out by now if we had waited. Let's go to the 5 minute. From the 5 minute, we identified the break of structure back to the upside. Actually, no. We had a fair value gap that I went off of. Boom. This fair value gap here, right? And then we used this context here because we gotta think for a second, right? We got to think. I'm pretty sure I have it on recording too. If it wasn't this fair value gap, it was definitely this one. I said, okay, we have the key level. Let's go down to 5 minute fair value gap. Cool. From the fair value gap, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a break of structure or an inverse fair value gap on the 1 minute. So I went down to the 1 minute from that. Boom. We had a fair value gap there. Our break of structure would not have happened at all. So that was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is we didn't wait for a fair value or inverse fair value gap. This was not inverted. That was my mistake. So I failed to identify the confirmation on the 1 minute, and as a result of entering on the 837 candle, we had a little bit of profit right up until it swept the liquidity from this recent low, and from that misidentification, we missed out on a large move up. We missed out on $706. It wasn't until this candle right here where I thought we were going to get stopped out. I had a mild panic attack and said, you know what? I'm going to reverse the position now because it's moving up. It is not within trend, but it is moving up nonetheless. And it's not going to stop moving up until it's satisfied with the move. That is a terrible choice of words. It's not going to stop moving up because we had an inverse fair value gap here. It swept the liquidities off this low, and as you can see, price is moving much, much higher. We've been steadily going higher and higher ever since the inverse fair value gap over here. I have been watching the market ever since this candle. I've been re-identifying every single building block from the hour down, making sure this is not going to reverse back down. So far, there has not been a reverse, and I am slightly terrified about this right here. Slightly, because we had a leg down, but it wasn't enough to clear this right here. It did not close. Well, no, it closed below. We had an inverse fair value gap here, so something tells me this is going to get counted as a... No, because that also inverted that. I think this is going to get counted as a breaker block right here, this move specifically. And as a result from this breaker block, lack of sell orders in the market, we're going to see a large candle wick down. We didn't sweep liquidity. We're still in a is it bull? This is bearish. I think that's the name of it, bear run. Yeah. We made an oopsie. We made 2 oopsies. We made that large of an oopsie. And as a result, we're now from here to there, working on getting back what we lost. I now know to wait even longer. And news was taken into account. It was not expecting this strong of a reaction off of news. $8:15 to $8:30 is about 20 minutes. So I think I want to extend that time because because we entered within this move, this leg up here, right? We saw this and said, yes, this is without question break structure. Actually, I know what we did. I know what we did now. Comment section, I know what we did. So, by mistake, first mistake over here was after identifying the fair value gap and that we were going down to the 1 minute, I looked until we saw a low here and it went back up and we broke structure on the down here. And then we kept making higher moves up and up. This leg down, I saw as a continuation. It's going to continue moving down within the trend because on the daily, on the hour, on the 30 minute, on the 5 minute, it's all one big downtrend. News said price was going to move higher. Why did it say price was going to move, or why? How was it going to move higher? This right here. Oh, you can't see it. It says actual greater than forecast is good for currency. So that means price would have continued moving down, but because it's a red folder on news, the predictability of price continuing to go down, right, goes out the window because of the impact it has. And as you can see, we did have price continue moving down. It swept this previous low, and as a result of it sweeping that, we had our order block on the leg down that caused the leg up, and it rallied. It rallied really hard. Before we take a trade tomorrow, we're going to look at news, and we're also going to look at all the building blocks and then some. I'm going to get better at identifying breaker blocks, and I'm going to get better at identifying retraces mid-motion, mid-move, because I was not using the app. No, I'm wrong. I was, in fact, using the app, and I watched this form. I watched from here this way form. I thought this right here was a continuation. Yes, it was going to continue moving down. I was wrong. And as a result, we would have been stopped out. Luckily, I caught it in time before it decided to stop us out. So we reversed the position. So now we are negative $700, but plus the unrealized from the reversal. So with any luck, this trade will not have been lost, but it is still going to be it's going to cost us. It is, in fact, going to cost us. No doubt about it. It's unfortunate that that had to have been the case. I'm getting better at it, though. The panic attack was unwarranted, unneeded. I could have lost that trade, and that would have been $3,000 versus the $700 I saved by reversing it. So the risk to reward was there too. We had a 1 to 4, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no. Pretty sure I covered it. It may have been like a 1 to 1.7, 1.87, something like that. And I was completely fine with that. And I moved the take profit even lower to justify the risk to reward. That was just a bad call on my part. I will be doing a lot better next time at identifying those in the time they're supposed to be. I got this bad habit of when I hear certain times being explained right, I have to wait 20 minutes after news. Okay, cool. And then being told, oh yeah, or not being told, but being taught via video, me going and looking at a video and taking it for literal concrete, knock on wood. I legitimately have a problem with when someone gives me a time frame to work within and I have to take a trade within that time frame and then after that time frame make a profit, right? And then you have different sets of time frames you have to look in for stuff. I rush those badly. I am a rusher. I am very, very fast when I identify certain things. And this was very much so an impulse decision. Entering the market to begin with was an impulse move because I didn't properly identify all of the building blocks needed in order to confirm that, yes, price was going to continue moving down. I just married the bias I had per every timeline up to the point, identified the building blocks as they presented themselves, and the idea was wrong. So, what I intend to do next trade, something better, something more rewarding for the moves I make, because it's all on reaction, right? When I see the building blocks form within this leg, I will wait for it. This is me saying what I am going to do next trade. I will wait for it to create a peak, whether that be up high or down low, depending on trend, right? I'll wait for it to create a peak. I will not enter the trade for this entire arch, or for the reverse, right? I will not enter the trade until I see a sweep of liquidity here, and we have a confirmed break of structure to the upside here. This way, I'm maximizing on the profit gain from this break of structure on up. And if price wants to continue moving higher, we have bonus liquidity we can have there. That is how I'm going to attempt next trade. That is how I'm going to work with it. What kind of news do we have for tomorrow? This is Wednesday. I'm looking at Thursday now. PMI, unemployed claims, OPEC, JMMC meetings. Okay. All day meetings on okay. All right. So tomorrow looks like we're going to have a trade. It'll be rocky again. We have unemployment claims that's actual less than forecast is good for currency. So if it's less, money is the price point's going to go down. Actual is greater than forecast, good for currency. On the orange PMI folder, if it's greater, which means green number than black, price is going to go down. And the red folder PMI, greater than forecast, price is going to continue moving down. So we have to wait for the actuals to hit, and that is at 8:30, 9:45. That is market open and legitimately right after where we're like in the window we're going to trade. That's a rocky market tomorrow. We might trade tomorrow, we might not. I am not entirely sure about that. Oof. Right now, President Trump speaks 4 p.m. is when he does that. It's not saying if greater or lesser, good for market, bad for currency. It's not saying anything like that. So, all I know is right now, per the reversal, we're okay. We're not rough. We could have done better. Right now, as far as I can see and tell and know and do, it's okay. Put my take profit way up here, so in the event it wants to travel that far, it can. It's got plenty of room to go. I have no problem waiting for it to get up there. Within trend, so far it's hit that right there. Actually, no, it's hit this right here. I think this is going to create a new high just from this move. That's what it's done every single time up into like this, right? Even the most recent high, this current take profit here. I don't think I need to be looking for this take profit specifically, but I do think it's going to sweep past this. It might even come up into this right here just to close above this opening. Because that would be the inverse fair value gap on the larger time frame that says, yes, price is going to continue moving down. At this point, if it clears that, we will have a guaranteed inverse fair value gap, which is that continuation confluence. Yeah. So far, we're looking okay. Rough, but okay. So, with that being said, we're going to continue to watch this. This is our gray line of hope here. We want it to hit this gray line. In fact, I'm tempted to move my take profit down because I think this is absurdly high. I think if we're lucky, this right here is a better take profit. Does that put our risk to reward to good standing? Absolutely not. 35 to 296. That's literally risking what? That's a 1 to 1.4, 1.6, something like that. Not even. That's a rough one. That's a rough risk to reward. I don't like that risk to reward at all. I really don't. With that being said, I kind of want to move this up to this right here. That looks a little bit more manageable. A little bit more manageable. Still rough. Still rough. We're just waiting. That's all we're doing. We want to see it come past this gray line here. This gray line is the open to the fair value gap over to the left on the higher time frame. We want it to close above this. We want it to continue higher up into this. Do I think it's going to continue higher up into this? I don't think so. If it does, yay. If not, And I want to actually look on the 4-hour right quick because we did mark it out that this right here is the price we're looking at, right? We have higher highs. We have this one here. We have this one here. Do I think price is going to go all the way up there? Not really. Why? Because per the daily, we're on a downtrend. This is a retrace back up. We didn't break structure at all. So I don't think it's going to affect these two highs. What I do think it's going to do is it's going to wind up going into this fair value gap, closing above it, and then rallying back down. With that being said, let's go to the minute. Continue to watch and see. We'll go ahead and pause the video so that way it's not a long waiting time. I'm keeping bugging my eye. I don't know what. It's starting to drive me nuts. I cut the earnings short. We did not hit above this gray line. However, I'm looking at this and I'm attempting to avoid it. With this being the case, I decided that it'd be best if we just take a step back and consider ourselves lucky we did not go into the red. We took 2 trades today. First one we sold on. It was a short position. We thought price was going to go lower. It did not. We would have gotten stopped out. Before we would have gotten stopped out, there was an opportunity that I took up here to re-enter the market in a bias position, a long position. And from that, we saw the return we did off of this leg up here. I don't think we made anything, actually. I'm pretty sure we lost, what, $700? Yeah, we lost. Bounce before we took that trade, bounce after. On this trade specifically, we lost $800, $1,600. And then from this trade, we re-entered on a long position, made the 800 back. We made literally half of what we lost back. I know what this says. I'm doing the math in my head. Because this did not wind up being 98,000, this wound up being 99,000. And as a result, we got this from it. We made a miscalculation. And they're crying, you're crying. No, I'm seriously not crying. Something is actively bugging with my freaking eye, and it's getting on my last nerve. It's not eyelashes. I think I may have gotten it that time. Lesson to be taken away, lesson to learn from this, lesson I've learned from doing this. Wait for the confluences to form before jumping on the first confluence you see. And be patient. Or was it this one right here? This candle specifically was news. We should have seen this as a strong draw on liquidity. This should have been our signal that yes, price was going to go higher. So that's what I'm going to look out for next time when news drops, regardless of what news is. Per our bias, we're going to keep with the bias, right? And we're going to watch news's candle when it forms and closes. When it closes and we see price come up above a recent high, that is legitimately telling us, hey, price is wanting to move higher per news. And as a result, we'll see a move down, one peak, arch, second, sweep, push. We're going to be much slower tomorrow on identifying each of the building blocks and confirming each of them as time moves on. And as you can see, I believe we ended up on this candle like right here. And you'll see it just come down and into this, and it's just, ugh. In any case, I'm considering what I have currently made as a loss on this trade. And we were fortunate. I was fortunate enough to have reversed that when I did, because hadn't I have done that, we would have lost $3,000-$4,000 somewhere in there. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you think what I've said so far as for what I did on this trade was correct, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new on the comeback, or honestly like this kind of content. I post every day. I'm posting 5 days a week to really dial in on how to day trade and get good at it, be a profitable trader. I'd like to be able to make this into a living one day, and in the next couple of months, I mean, that is the goal. Be profitable. 3 months on pay-per-view, paper trading, and then from there, move to a live account. We started this... Gosh, I really need to mark that. I'm going to go on YouTube and mark the video I started trading on, and from there, I will have a genuine date in the description stating when I started trading, and then from there, we'll count that week onward. We want 3 months worth of trading under our belt, and they all three need to be profitable in the green. We cannot be losing trades. We need to be taking smart trades. We need to be learning from our mistakes and growing. That being said, hope you guys are happy with this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Peace out.